Hello, hello, hello. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. Adimi underscore 7777. That's a good number. Hi, hello everyone. Listen, this year is in a hurry to end. We ain't mad at it. This is like it's already 1 week into October. Well, just like yesterday we came um like what Thursday. But anyway, hello Mr. Mobology, how are you? Hey Mr. Lechi, what's going on? 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕. Oh, hello, Mr. Jago. How are you? Hi. Hello. Good evening. Tommy, is it Tommy or Tommy? 2026. Hi, Facebook and YouTube family. Come on in, everybody. Hello, Miss Christiana. How are you? How are you doing? Hey, TikTok family. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Good to know. Good to know. Welcome in. Come on in. Welcome in. Say hello when you come on, especially if you are just joining us, lady underscore B0011. Thank you. Yeah, I always look sharper when I just rebraid my hair. So you can tell. It's like, hello, Miss Eleanor Sanctuary. How's my baby boy doing? Please tell me he's much better. What's Oh, I was trying to figure out why am I hearing like water sound. I got my washer doing. Oh, Shamawa. But happy Tuesday, everyone. If this is your first time stopping by and you're wondering, okay, what's going on? We come together as a group of immigrants every Tuesday and Thursdays, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Excellent. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time Zone. Any other time zone, I don't know. Ask Siri, Alexa, Google, anybody, somebody. Absolutely. Thank God. God, he brings about the balm of Gilead to heal us. Thank God. Listen, it just hurts my heart for when little kids are not because the bodies are just frail. Even at 47, if I have a cold, the whole world is about to end. So, am I frozen on? Okay, what's going on? Okay. Oh Lord, what is it now on my Facebook and okay, hold on 1 second. I think I might have to start this. Oh Lord. Oh, I think it's my laptop. Do y'all lose me on? Ugh. Helen Stelly Love 007. And can y'all tell me if I'm back on? I think I went off. That there would have been a glitch. Am I back on YouTube and Facebook? Yes, no. Are we back? Somebody, anybody. Perfect. Okay. What happened? Like, was it frozen on your end? Okay, perfect. Thank you. So was it frozen or what? Listen, I don't know. Oh, thank you, Mr. Alexa. What was it? Was it frozen or what? Can see and hear you loud and clear. Okay, perfect. All right. So, hi everyone. This is Attorney Epistela Olale. It was frozen. All right. Listen, I don't control the tech. Maybe that's the one I was going to say. I'm an immigration attorney based in Alabama, representing immigration clients in all 50 states. If you've got an immigration case, if it's a case snap that we handle, we would be glad to represent you. It doesn't matter what state you live in. Immigration is federal practice. What that matters is that even if an attorney that you love is not in your state, let me make myself feel good, is not, fiscal present in your state, they still can represent you. Because since immigration is federal practice, that means that as long as the attorney is licensed in one state, then they can represent you regardless of the state you live in, even if you live in Alaska. I don't know, I'm an immigrant, but I actually have two clients, two, which is a whole lot that I thought I would have in Alaska. So I actually have two clients in Alaska. Believe it or not, there are Africans. No, one Caribbean and one African. Those are my clients in Alaska. I don't know how they got there, but they got there, and I'm representing them. So thank you, Mr. Secretary. Number to call is 334-341-4475. Visit our website at @𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓.com. info@𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓.com is our email address. You can also text us on WhatsApp with the same number. We'll be glad to represent you. And it's a lot going on in the immigration world, but don't let that get to you. Listen, that's the whole point. Hello, Mr. Kelvin. Mr. Kelvin, why not setting dates? Because mixed two of us. Someone looked at me today. Now, y'all be truthful. Well, I don't know if I even need y'all's opinion, but someone looked at me today and said, we're talking about, it was this is a former client, and so he actually was going through Mississippi and stopped by and got talking yada yada yada, and he goes, one of the reasons why you're still single is because you have too much masculine energy. I said, huh? Hold off, back it up. So y'all think I have masculine? And he goes, I don't mean it that way, but you are so much in. And keep in mind, okay, he said that you're in a very you're in a male dominated industry, which I know. But he goes, you have so much masculine energy. You might buy everybody. Hi, Mr. Professor. So y'all think y'all agree with him or not? Let me know. Now, y'all, if you say yes and you need me to represent you, I mean, take that out on you. I'm just saying. Hold up. It's like I was shocked. I was shook. Let me use. I was shook, quote unquote. I was like, I didn't see that coming. Well, my mama said the same thing, but it's okay. But anyway, follow us on our social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn at Olale Immigration. Share, like, subscribe, follow, all of that at Olale Immigration. Let's talk immigration, y'all. One of the things we also do, if you are new here, is I take on as many questions as possible, but that is done when we talk about what we're going to discuss. And so let's get right into it. October is here. So the things that you need to know for the month of October when it comes to immigration in immigration world. Starting with October, please share, like, follow, subscribe, all of that good stuff. I do give up masculine energy. You think so? That's why I'm single. That's okay. That's okay. You're my mama. It doesn't faze me. Hello, Mr. Fatnai. How are you? That's okay. Listen, to each their own. There's someone out there. I know there's someone out there who can deal with me. You be shocked. I'll come back one day. Anyway, in the month of October, one of the things you have to know, if you are filing for citizenship, I'm doing well. Hello, Ethnic Movement. If you're filing for citizenship And you want to make sure that you still are able to take the current naturalization test, meaning the current civics test. What that comprises of is you've got 100 history, basically, history test is what it is. It's basic history test, which a lot of American-born citizens can't even answer those questions, truth be told. So the current test is right now is 100 questions, and during your civics test, the interviewing officer would ask you up to 10, and you have to get at least 6 out of the 10 questions correctly. If you do not, you will, if you don't get up to 6, they will give you a second chance on the same application. So you get 2 shots at taking the test, whether it's the civics test or the English language test. You get 2 shots. If you fail the second time, they're going to deny your case. So if you are planning to still take the current naturalization test, then you need to file your application before October 20, 2025. So you've got a little under 2 weeks to file the application, meaning USCIS must receive that application before October 20, 2025. Because starting on October 20, 2025, and I want to make sure that I'm not telling you guys a lie. I think it is. I think it was October 20, 2020. Yeah. So starting on October 20, 2025, they will be implementing the new 2025 test, which is basically the 2020 test they introduced during the first term of this administration. And so what is that going to entail? That is going to comprise of 128 questions. So there will be 28 more questions for you to study. And then I know they talked about bringing in an essay portion of the English language test. Now there's nothing set in stone as far as that is concerned, but the main thing that's going to change as far as we know for now, it's going to be the civics test. So it's going to jump on October 20, it will jump from 100 questions to 128 questions. And then when you have your interview, the interviewing officer will ask you up to 20 questions. Okay, it would not be up to 20 questions rather than up to 10. So it's going to be double, and it's also going to be double the amount of questions you have to get correctly. So rather than 6 questions, you now have to get 12 questions correctly. If you don't get up to 12 questions out of 20, you get a second shot at coming back, so they reschedule you for the test. If you still don't get up to 12, then that application is going to be denied. You're going to have to start all over again. So it's still doable, especially because N400 is something you can file online. If you want to avoid having to study extra 28 questions, because listen, y'all, as an attorney, I still have to study stuff because you do research. But taking exams, when I took the New York bar exams, like that's it. I ain't doing it anymore. No more exams. But anyway. So if you want to avoid that, you've got to file your application before October 20. So if they receive your application on October 20, you're going to be subjected to the new test, which would be the 128 questions and answering up to 12. I would rather do 6 than do 12. Okay, so that's that on the citizenship. That is in addition to them asking, going to find out from your neighbors if you're a person of good moral character. Obviously, you've got to still make sure that you're not owing any taxes. Even if you owe, you have a payment agreement in place with the U.S. with the IRS. You haven't cussed out your neighbor, so that your neighbor, if they ask your neighbor questions about you, they don't say anything that like, oh no, that person is just messed up, kind of thing. You know what I mean? But anyway, so that's number 1 for the month of October. The second thing you need to know in immigration world for the month of October is starting October 29, 2025. You will no longer be able to use. So when you apply for USCIS, when you file your USCIS applications and or petitions, you will no longer be able to pay your filing fees with a money order or check. So USCIS will no longer, you have to remember that, October 29, 2025 and beyond, USCIS will no longer accept checks and or money order for filing fees. everyone filing any application with USCIS starting from October 29. Actually, I think it's October 28. Hold on one second. I was right. October 29. All right. Okay. So you have till October 28th is the very last day where USCIS must receive that application if you are sending in an application with money order or check. October 29, if your application gets to USCIS on October 29, they will reject it and they will send it back to you. That means that you would have wasted your time, and hopefully it's not something that is time sensitive. So if you know that you would rather pay your filing fee. So what we do in my firm is it doesn't matter if you're because my clients actually send us money orders and we usually just write a business check. And so this time around, we're just going to be using the same business account we use for filing fees to put that information on the form. So now there's always been that option of paying filing fees with debit and or credit card with a form G1450. For starting October 29, you're now going to be able to use ACH, meaning bank accounts withdrawal, to pay your filing fees on form G1650. So it'll be a form G1450 or form G1650. Those will be the only two options by which you can pay your filing fees with USCIS, and that is starting October 29, 2025. So from now up until October 28, 2025, you still are able to use money orders or checks. But one thing, a piece of advice: if you know that you're not filing your application or once you get to like October 25th, there's no point risking it. Just use the form. Now, another piece of advice is this: this is what we do. Rather than put all your, like for instance, if you use a G1450 or the new G1650, rather than just put a total of the filing fees in one form and then that's it, what we usually do, because I have clients who actually use your credit card and they would prefer to do that, we prepare a G1450 for each credit card, for each application. So say, for instance, you're using it when filing an AOS case, for instance, I-130, I-485, I-765, I-131. What we'll do is there'll be a G1450 for the I-130 for in the amount of $675. There'll be a G1450 for the I-485 in the amount of $1440. And in 765, $260, I-130, $630. So for those four applications, we would have four of those forms, and each of the form is going to be on top of each form. So that's what I usually do. So it's not confusing, and that's just me. So it's you don't risk them rejecting your application, thinking that okay, but make sure. That's not the credit card. That's not the when you submit your application is not the time that you want to go splurge on a new fragrance, because that's my addiction. Everyone has something that's splurging. Me, it's fragrance. Like I gotta smell good. We have to smell good till Jesus comes back. I can wear a $1 shirt from Walmart. I don't care about that, but smell, because if somebody, I don't care how much money a guy has or how good looking you are, if you don't smell good, keep it moving. Just keep going. Just keep going, because yes, but anyway, so those are the two main things that everyone needs to know for the month of October. And so I saw a question about DACA, but real quick, let me just say that there isn't. Yes, there was the hearing, and DHS is supposed to have a plan to bring about to allow the plan where new DACA applicants can or where there will be the processing of new DACA applications now, except instead of Texas. However, there is still nothing written yet. There's no final order. There's nothing in stone. That's why I haven't spoken about it yet. I'm waiting to see that, at least before I came in on this evening. That's what it is. So until I have something, I just don't like speaking of something that I don't have a concrete a basis or foundation to refer to. So that's what you need to know. And also, I know that some of our clients, because we put a post up earlier this evening that we filed one of the VAR cases, because we filed quite a number of VAR cases last week. One of the ones we filed last week, the USCIS received it on September 29, and we received the notices today. And if you're wondering, okay, but I filed my case, or Cecilia, it's a filed case in your firm since April or May. Why has the person who filed their case last week received their receipt notice? I haven't received mine. Here's why. Back then in April, May, we still had to file, and some of the VAL cases are still being filed at the Nebraska Service Center. But back then in April, every single VAL case was still being filed at the Nebraska Service Center, all of it. However, sometime in August, USCIS decided to, I think because of the backlog, they decided to now open up more filing locations for VAWA-related cases, depending on if you're filing a standalone VAWA petition, if you're filing an I-485 together with it, based on where you live, and all of that. So two of those clients, for instance, their cases did not go to Nebraska Service Center last week. Their cases were filed in Chicago. So those two cases, we've received the notices today. So that's why it looks like, okay, those cases were just filed. They got their receipt notice. And that's because the filing location, based on what we filed, was in Chicago. And so those that were filed back in April, that was way before USCIS opened up this new filing locations. And so those cases are just being, like, we got quite a bit of receipt notices today for cases from April and May. So some of my clients are going to be getting emails from us within the next 48 hours because we have their receipt notices. Yes, somewhere as far back as April, that's basically 6 months. That's what we're seeing. So if you saw that post and you're wondering, or you're going to meet your attorney and like, someone just filed for their client last week, and that is what is happening. So don't raise an alarm. No, you've got to know, like I already said, the more you know, you've got to know the facts before you make a conclusion. So that's what's going on. So just to recap, citizenship test is going to change effective October 20. If you want to avoid the much more tougher, test, then you've got to file your application before October 20. Filing fees, you can no longer use checks and money orders anytime after October 28. So starting October 29, it's got to be G1450 credit debit card, G1650 ACH withdrawal from your bank account. And if you saw that post about receipt notices, just know that that's what's going on. And that's it, people. That's all she wrote. Straight to the point, and that's about it. That's what you need to know so far for the month of October. But you already know that things change daily with this administration, so you just never know. But we'll let you know as soon as we get something that you guys need to be aware of. Okay. It went blank. Oh, okay. Let's see. Tech stuff is I know. But it is. So questions. Let's get to questions. I'm looking excited. It was a good day. Knock on wood. It was a really good day. There's some days that you have a task. Like hardly do I. This is a list of what I want to accomplish today. Hardly do I even make it to meet half of it, because then I got to do consultations. Then I got to, my paralegals have emails. I have to review cases. And by the end of the day, that was my plan. I really actually planned to do that, but I just couldn't. But today was one of those days where I actually got to. I had a shorter list today, and I said, okay, let's make it shorter and see if that's. And actually, checked off everything. Let's not jinx it for tomorrow. So I was really excited. I came home, I was dancing with my son, and he was like, "Someone got a green card." I'm like, every day's. Yeah, somebody did get a green card today, but it was just because I was able to complete my task. which was great. Although I had to stay back in the office until about 6:30, which is fine. Um, but yeah. But anyway, questions, answers to your questions are general responses, nothing specific to anyone's case. If you need something that is specific to your case, we'll be glad to have a paid consultation for you. I'm still trying to think of what we're going to do for our 10th year anniversary this month. Still trying to think. We'll see. But anyway, okay. Let me see. Facebook, YouTube, no. Okay. All right. So please do not repeat questions. That will be very, very appreciated if you do not repeat questions. Let me go to TikTok. All righty. Okay. Girl therapy. Thank you. Did you cut your hair? I didn't cut my hair. I just rebraided my hair. So that's why it looks cleaner. Because, if anyone who has 4C natural hair, you're not excited to be rebraiding very often. Because our hair is like SpongeBob. Don't get me wrong. It's beautiful texture. It's just it's very kinky. It is what it is. So it can break your hand. Like, for instance, I braid my son's hair, TJ, and he's got the same texture as I do. And he's like, my nails, my fingers, stuff like that. But now it's box braid. Young, can anyone send me, I've seen some YouTube videos, but can anyone send me anything that's going to be helpful to learn box braid? Because that's what he wants to do next. I'm not checking cooking pay for any service, but yeah. But thank you. How much does I don't discuss fees? I discuss fees in the paid consultation. Okay. Tomoe, I salute you. Thank you. Look at your salt and pepper hair, really nice. Prince Glow the Glory. Thank you. Actually, it became salt and pepper because I stopped buying hair dye. I died today. The next is 4C hair is only manageable when wet. Yes, not damp. Where's the lie? You can't do it. It's not damp. It has to be wet. Like, for instance, I literally have to remove each braid, and so I take off my hair, and then get in the shower and really wash and detangle each braid. You cannot detangle. You can't. It's not hair. You just put your comb, even when it's wet. You can't just put your pick or your comb and just comb everything. No, you will be bald. You will end up being bald. So you gotta love it. It's what God gave us. But it was like SpongeBob. But anyway. Okay, let's see. My process is taking too long. I submitted all my documents since June 3rd. Is that normal? What process is that? What did you file? Hello, Miss 𝐾𝐢𝐫𝐞𝐲𝐞. How are you? I'm so happy for you. You have no idea. I can't wait to call you and let you know that I have your card, because I know it's been a long time coming. So happy for you. And thank you for your patience. And when I was talking about receipt notes, I know you sent me emails, God knows how many times, but I wish, listen, if you know how many times I've sent emails to the hotline email address, to the point where they said there's nothing we can do, we're backlogged and all that, there's just nothing we can do. So I use the digital signature on the I-130A RFE. How can I fix this issue? Well, you've already sent it. Just wait for them. If they reject it, they will send you, or they may send you another RFE if you're lucky. And if they reject it and deny you, you can file an I-290B. Okay, let's see. Okay. Seizu, I was going to answer your question, but I decided to put it like 5 times. I'm going to skip it. Hello, Miss Zoe. How are you? Someone came into the U.S. 20 plus years ago with another person's visa to have a child. Can the child file? Can the child file what? I see that you shared my live, but you put your question too many times. I'm sorry. You're welcome. I want to hire lawyer. Oh, okay. Okay, we'll set up your consultation. I'll tell you how you make it manageable. Oh, you can make it manageable. See, okay, so see, I'll make a concession because now you're giving me releasing with them, judge. You're giving me ideas of 4C hair. So, but I see, I'm not a hair person. I've never been. Ask my mom. I don't know if she's on. I have an older brother. There is 16 months between us. April. I went to law school, so I don't have to do math. Yeah, 16 months between two of us. And then my younger brother, there's 4 years between us. So it was just me and Femi for a while. And the only difference growing up for a long time is that I had earring studs. Other than that, I was dressed the same way they dressed my brother. My mom said, because nobody could touch my head. So they just left me with a boycott, and that was it. So I've just never been a hair salon girl. No, I'd rather take a nap, which I hardly do, or I'd rather pull a tooth than go sit, and I just can't. So that's what my hair's. Even when I did my twist and everybody loved it, I came back like 5 days later and it was back in my braids. I just don't have the time. I don't. My life is just too. It's not even just about business. I just don't. It's just not me. I love to wash my hair, put in the braid, and I have wigs. I don't know if they where they are, but they're somewhere. Um, Hello, Miss Cynthia. How are you? I have a 10-year green card and also have dismissal case. Cannot travel. What dismissal case? What do you mean dismissal case? But anything about travel, I don't answer questions like that. You ask your attorney. Okay, G1650. My husband paid the fee. Whose name put on the form? Applicant. You have to look at the form. Your question is not. I can't tell you about what to put on the form. You have to follow the instructions on the form. That's a liability question kind of thing. It's not a yes or no thing. It's not a general information kind of question. Okay. You are welcome. Someone came to the US on another person's visa. Okay, so to have a kid, can that kid file green card for parents now? If the parents came in legally, so if is the someone who came in, is that someone? Is that one of the parents? Because I'm confused about your question. Married to a U.S. citizen for 7 years and have a 10-year green card, and the husband is now a felon. Can she divorce? Nothing says you have to stay with him. Oh, okay. So well, that's if there's the best answer to your question is it depends. So sit down with a lawyer to discuss that. You're welcome. Do they do interviews for I-485 parents petitioned by their adult child? They can. It's a 50-50 thing when it comes to parents. Okay. Anything about processing time, please go on uscis.gov/processing time. How long after a green card of 2 years and divorce through VAWA can one file for citizenship? Green card of 2 years and divorce. If you're green card of 2 years and divorce. So if you are already divorced, your question is not is confusing, but let me just put it this way. If you haven't filed your 751, which is a petition to remove the conditions of your residency yet, and you're already divorced, then obviously you do not qualify for marital union basis of 3 years for citizenship unless your 10-year green card is granted based on abuse. So you have to clarify, have you filed the 751 were you granted based on abuse, or you're just with a 2-year green card and you are going to be filing for 10-year your 751 based on extreme cruelty? What exactly is your situation? Okay. Again, is it mater? I hope I didn't murder that. This is not a yes or no question. Sit down with the lawyer to discuss that. Thank you, 𝒊𝒎𝒎💊💈 for me. Bambi, what's your question? You're welcome, Miss Cynthia. Okay, I don't know if that answers. Okay, so that answers your question. Okay, all right. Okay, I meant green card is a 10-year one, and I'm 2 years this year. How long can I wait to file for citizenship? So, are you divorced already? So you never had a 2-year green card. You got a 10-year green card from the beginning, right? Lambs, you got a 10-year green card from the beginning, and you're already divorced. Okay, so you're going to have to wait 5 years. So there's no citizenship based on abuse once you have divorced. The citizenship based on abuse is there's no citizenship based on abuse when you have a 10-year green card. Let me put it that way. If you are filing a 751 and that is your body's father, that you can file that based on abuse. And if your 751 is granted based on abuse, then you'll become eligible to still apply for citizenship after 3 years as a legal permanent resident. However, in your case, I take it that you already have a 10-year green card. After the 10-year green card, which you've now had for 2 years, you got divorced along the way, even though you've suffered abuse, but you're now wondering, can you still file your citizenship based on abuse? No, if that's the case, the short answer to that is no, you already have the 10-year green card. So you're divorced, and end of story, you're going to be filing based on 5 years. Arrested, but charges outright dismissed. Any issue with N400 coming up in April. I believe, Usman, you've already asked this question, and I think I told you to go sit down with a lawyer. Is there any problem when one's husband's divorced after the wife got? Is there any problem when one's husband divorced? Can you make your question clearer, please? Can someone who got citizenship already, can all right, let me rephrase your question, Bambi. You're asking if someone who is a citizen, can they petition for a brother who already lives in the United States for that brother to get their green card? Is that what you're asking? Is that what you're asking? Lams, did you ever have a 2-year green card? You never had a 2-year green card. So how were you divorced already before you got the 10-year green card? Because that means that you didn't have a qualified relationship when your case was approved. Oh, okay. Y'all have to make your questions clear. So you got your 10-year green card through VAWA, right? So this is not a regular I-130. Okay. And the abusive spouse is a citizen. Then you qualify to file for citizenship once you have had your green card for 3 years. You're able to file 90 days before the 30-year anniversary. You could have just made that a lot easier by saying, I got my green card through VAWA. When can I file for citizenship? Yeah, like that. I have 2 years green card. I filed for I-751 in 2023, but in divorce process now. But I joined the military. So what's your question? That's okay. That's okay. So yes, if that's so, I'm glad we cleared that up. What's your question? Is it okay to file for citizenship if I have a customary court decree, divorce decree? So let me be clear, and I know you guys have probably you've seen that video. I want to, because the last when we're here on Thursday, someone on TikTok came in and I'm not sure. Well, the point that we're trying to make was, well, I have a friend who just got his citizenship approved and he submitted a Nigerian divorce decree. So let me clarify again, and I think I clarified in that video. The fact that you have a Nigerian divorce decree does not mean that you will not get your citizenship. The fact that you are Nigerian doesn't mean that you are not going to get your citizenship, and doesn't mean that every Nigerian's divorce document is fraudulent. That's never one time I've ever said that. What we're seeing, however, is even in the post we put up today, it's ridiculous what's going on. If USCIS is actually even saying in their own denial, it's on our page, you can go see it on the video, where they're saying that even if the documents came from a competent authority, because of information given to them by the Department of State regarding credibility of civil documents from Nigeria, they still question your divorce documents. It's not something I'm making. It was something that was in a denial notice. And the denial notice was a denial notice for an N400. This person, which we're going to file an appeal for, used that same divorce decree to get his 2-year green card, used the same divorce decree to get the 10-year green card, filed for citizenship. And what we're seeing more of now under this administration is they're using the citizenship application as a review of your initial submission. And if you are Nigerian, based on what they indicated clearly themselves, that means that even if it has nothing to do with the divorce issue, they're looking at that to see if your divorce document was even genuine or valid to start with. And if it was not, based on their assessment, they're denying the N400 application. Someone that also consulted with us, I think a week ago, was also issued an NTA. Unfortunately for them, their own green card is not up to 5 years yet, so they were placed in rescission proceedings. So it's not like because you have a divorce document from Nigeria, that means you can file for citizenship. I hope that is very, very clear now. But you having a customary court divorce document, because now even the Department of State is investigating and making sure and verifying divorce documents even from customary courts now. So whether or not, so it's not because you have a Nigerian divorce decree. It is if they are, especially for those under the Biden administration, where you had quite a number of people, or even before then, where you had your case, the interview waived in your case. If you never had an interview before you got your green card and you actually got your 10-year green card up front, this is an opportunity for them to review your file. And it's not like it's something they're doing that they're not allowed to do, because one of the requirements for citizenship is that you must have been lawfully admitted as a legal permanent resident. Being lawfully admitted as a legal permanent resident includes the fact that you must have shown that if you got your green card through marriage, you must have had a qualifying relationship. Part of qualifying relationship is every previous marriages must have been legally terminated. So if they conclude that your divorce document was not valid, that means your qualifying relationship never existed, and so the green card was issued in error, which is what they told this guy. So I hope that clarifies that. But I know people are still going to say, this is law, and need Nigerian divorce to get file citizenship. That's not what I've said in any way, shape, or form. But that's okay. That's why videos are always up. Okay. I got my 10-year green card based on vow, but now a widow. When can I file based on vow? So I think it's the same response to the person I just said. It was based on vow, you're still eligible for 3 years. I have biometrics next week. My online account says it may take 2 weeks for decision, and I can answer that. Should I be concerned about the divorce, or military will help with, or the military will help? Divorce has nothing to do your as long as you have nothing else that is going to prevent you from being approved through the military. That has nothing to do with you getting citizenship through your through the military. Okay, let's see. Anything about travel? Ask your attorney. Okay. All right. Let's see. Miss, can I ask a question on YouTube? As long as it's not too personal, absolutely. That's what we're doing right now. Hola F, good evening. Hello, Miss O. How are you? Yes, ma'am. I sent an email to follow up after the meeting yesterday. I haven't received any response from anybody. So if you know, and I know you're trying not to get too involved, but that was the issue I had with him initially. But tomorrow is a deadline for that, for the fee quote. So yeah. Are you still taking cases? Someone else cases or booked till next? Are you still taking cases? Oh, it depends on the case. What kind of case do you have? We're taking cases, but it depends on the kind of case you have. All right, let's go see Instagram. What's the time? I'm smiling because I was. Anyway, I'll let that alone. And the auntie. So much. Thank you for all the praise. You're welcome. They can't express it. It makes it even more difficult for them and people around it. Yes, and they can't express, and the way they express themselves, and they're frustrated, and you. So, ooh, that I remember those times like yesterday. I'm telling you. Okay, it was okay. It's YouTubers blank. Okay, it was back. Okay, can see. Hello, Anthony Henry. How are you? Let's see. Stay focused. I'm doing well. Epic, how are you doing? What's the time? Hello, Miss Juliet. I hope you have been keeping well. All right, let's see. Sectional shampoo and conditioning. Tell me about it. Ooh. I don't dread wash days, but it's just like, because you're going to be you have that's a day, one of those days where you have to be so patient in the shower. You can't be in a hurry to do anything else. It's pretty the way you do it. Thank you. That's why I leave it alone. That's why I leave it alone. Thank you. Hello, Mr. Abdulaziz. Okay. My U.S. citizen filed for my 3 children, but only 2 was approved. So what's your question? So what's the question you have? He's supposed to respond to the email that I sent yesterday. You were included in the email as well. So, because that's the thing, he's going to let me know that he's ready. Yeah. Can I file for my kids with same account that my spouse used in bringing me into the United States? You cannot file for your kids with the same account because your spouse was the I-130 petitioner. If you're going to be petitioning for your spouse, for your kid, then you should have opened your account, or you would have to open your account separately. That's a different petitioner's account. Anything about how long something is taking, that go on uscis.gov/processing time. Miss, I think you said you were going to ask a question. I don't see the question now, and we're almost out of time. Can someone withdraw his asylum application which has not been scheduled for interview? You can, but keep in mind that if you do not have anything else that is a backup plan, say for instance, you don't have like a marriage-based case that you can use as a backup, and you have nothing else, you withdraw that, they can send you to immigration court. So you have to make sure you've got. Do you have an alternative? Do you have something that's already been approved? What exactly? My husband has a few misdemeanors 15 years ago, cannot file for his citizenship. You're not the one filing for his citizenship. He's the one who has to file for citizenship for himself. But it would depend on what the type of misdemeanors those charges were. So he needs to sit down with a lawyer before he files. Okay. Got my 10-year green card last December. My husband filed for divorce last month. Hope there is no. I'm assuming hope there's no problem. I mean, I don't know anything about your case. As long as it wasn't like that, you guys didn't have any issues. And I always say, as long as you're not filing, and he's the one who filed for divorces, you can stop someone from leaving. So, and it's not like, so if you were the one who filed for divorce, and like 2 months after you got your 10-year green card, then there's red flag. But number one, this is about 8 months after you got it, and he's the one who filed. Are you still taking cases or booked till next year? Again, it depends on the kind of cases. Okay. So what could have been the price? Almost 1 year that they approved 2 out of it. I can't speculate to one thing, something I don't know anything about. Can one be pregnant if VAR case is pending? Yeah, that's fine. Just don't get remarried. Nothing says you can move on with your life, but you just cannot get remarried. Once you remarry, that's the end of the VAR case. Can a child who was single when filed for green card get married in the process? That would depend on what category that child is in, who's filing for the child. So you've got to sit down with a lawyer to make sure that it just depends. For instance, if I'll give an example, if someone is filing for an adult child who is single, if a citizen is filing for an adult child who's single, that child is an unmarried child that falls within under the category of, I believe, F1. And then if that child not gets married, that child falls on not changes into the category of F3. But if a green card holder files for a single adult child, for instance, or even just single child, and it depends on if the child is F2A or F2B. If that child not gets married, then that child is no longer going to be in any category, because green card holders cannot file for married children. So it just depends. It depends. So that's why I said it depends. Okay, I think I got all questions out of the way. That was pretty fast. See, I think sometimes when you have productive day, it actually... Okay, you haven't married. Don't if your marriage case is not approved yet, please hear me loud and clear. Leave your asylum case alone. If they have not scheduled you for an interview, like you said, leave the asylum case alone. When you get your green card, then you can ask them to withdraw the case at that time, but not right now. Don't open yourself. The fact that you have a marriage, y'all have to hear me very, very clearly. The fact that you've got a pending green card application with USCIS does not stop them from still placing you in removal proceedings. Let me say that again. Even if you have a green card application with USCIS, it is not a guarantee that you would not be referred to immigration court. An I-485 application authorizes you to stay in the country. It does not give you deferred action protection from removability. Two different things. So the fact that you've got a pending case is not coverage or protection. If you now withdraw your asylum case, leave the asylum alone. Once your other case gets approved, then you can go ahead and now withdraw it at that point. When you even get a green card, sometimes the asylum office will actually send you a letter saying, hey, by the way, our records show that you got your yada, yada, yada. And do you want to keep the asylum case open or not? If we don't hear from within 30 days, we'll close it up, something along those lines. Yeah. Okay. Is it possible for a citizen to marry one's baby mama? I don't like that term. From Africa after divorced American spouse. Share anything. Part of those people take away ẹjọ wá láti láti Naija ẹ wá débi báyìí ẹ wá àti ní issues láti lé. If I hear that thing one more time, y'all, I'm going to lose my freaking mind. Ẹ má máa bá mi sọ issues as a slam. I think now issues láti lé. Okay, let's come to the US and see if we can reconcile. But I did US, I think no, could work. Ṣùgbọ́n during the time tó work yẹn, during the time to working, Mr. Abdulaziz, what's your issue? During the time to working, it be another or more. You had yet another child during the time to work, but then you went your several ways, and then one person now has a citizen, become a citizen, and they're like, no, I want to reconcile. Sister Lloyd, shall you remarry? You can, you can, but you must have a lawyer on your. You must have a lawyer. Do I do cases like that? I love to do cases like that, actually. One of our recent cases, actually, the guy filed for his kids. The kids' cases were actually still pending. And it came to me and he said, hey, I want to file for their mother. I was like, okay. Say, why reconcile? I get it. But anyway, long story short, the case was actually approved in like 4 months. And the kids' case that he filed for at the time was still pending. I don't know because I didn't do that. So you can, but make sure you have a lawyer. Let's see. Does USCIS still waive interviews? Because on the site it says interview complete. Even if it does say that you're still going to schedule for an interview, we're not seeing them waive interviews. I still have a couple of I-751s were approved without interviews, but the fact that you see it on the tracker doesn't mean it would not. So just so you know. Let's see. Got denied from I-918. I don't do those cases. Okay, let's see. Can one be pregnant if valid case is pending? That's the same person who asked it on Instagram, so I already answered the question because I can see the same username. All right, okay. All right, people. Okie dokie. I filed for her, but he was denied, but they gave the kid green card. Sit down with the lawyer and figure out what's next. I can almost guarantee you didn't have a lawyer. I can almost guarantee you didn't have a lawyer. Yeah, sit down with a lawyer. Sit down with a lawyer and figure out what's the best line of action. All right, people. All right. Thank you so much. How long is the wait to bring a British resident in for USCIS.gov/person time as far as how long something is taking? Okay, y'all. Listen, God is still in the business of miracles. There's nothing that has no blessing that has your name on it can be destroyed. No blessing that has your name can be revoked. No blessing that has your name on it can be reversed. There's a whole lot going on. I had a lady who was crying just really bad this morning because she got a notification that her I-130 was approved in 2023, got a notice of intent to revoke. And we agreed in faith in that, and we had a word of prayer and saying that, we're going to make the best argument we can, but we're also going to put it before the altar of grace. That because God had a hand in it, and because he granted you that case, there's nothing that's going to stop them. It's going to be a challenge based on the grounds, but we agreed in faith that nothing is going to reverse her blessing. Nothing is going to destroy her blessing. Nothing is going to revoke her blessing. And so we are agreed in faith today, this evening, that whatever it is that you think, that you may be afraid of, that you may be concerned about, just know that nothing is going to get in the way of your blessing, and nothing is going to undo what God has completed in your life. You have to believe that. And but as you believe it, speak it each and every day, knowing and testifying that your testimony is already complete. That if it's already complete, that means that God has signed, sealed, and delivered that. And so whoever it is that wants to come against you, the prayer is that he will silence all, not some, that he will silence all opposition on our behalf. Anyone who wants to oppress, suppress, or make us depressed, God will silence all opposition on our behalf. And we shall be victorious at the end of it all. I'll see you guys on Thursday. Bye, everybody.